One of the best things I did in college, which I'm still in college, but like one of the best things I've done so far has been participate in summer research. So I'm going to talk to you about what summer research is, how you get it, why you should do it, and like what you should do once you get it, like how to make the most of your experience, because that's what I wish I had known. Hi, I'm Serene. I'm a genetics and plant bio major at UC Berkeley, and I was a community college student for my first 2 years of college, which means I did not have any access to research, and I didn't really know anything about research until like October of my sophomore year, where one of my professors, not even one of the professors that I was like volunteering with, mentioned REUs, and I was like, what is this? I need to get on this. And REU stands for Research Experience for Undergraduates, and it's a type of summer program for research that's funded by the National Science Foundation. In this video, I'm probably going to be referring to all summer research programs as an REU. That's kind of how it's colloquially used. It's technically not correct because REU is funded by NSF explicitly, but there are other programs funded by other sources that are also summer research that is equally valuable. Anyway, so I had heard about them and I was like, I know that I'm interested in a career in research, and obviously I don't have any experience in that, and I would love to, get that opportunity. So I applied to a bunch, and I didn't have that much guidance. So here's what I learned, starting with why you should do an REU. So before number one, there are some benefits to an REU that are like appealing to everyone. Everyone would want these things, right? You have money. You get paid a stipend, even as an undergrad who doesn't know what they're doing. It's great. This is why we like funding the National Science Foundation, because we're developing a new era of scientists. So we get money, we get a place to stay. So they will pay for your like housing. Usually REUs are affiliated with a university, some sort of research university, but some programs are actually affiliated with a research institution, like a nonprofit where I did my research, or it can be like I know of a botanical garden that did it. I think there are some museums, I don't know, but they'll pay for you to stay either in dorm, university housing, or outside apartments, and they'll pay for your food. If you live in a university, that means you probably get access to like dining hall food. We just got a $15 a day stipend, which we made it work, and they pay for you to go there. So I got a stipend in my acceptance for travel specifically, which totally covered the cost of my plane ticket to St. Louis, where I did my research at the Donald Whitworth Plant Science Center. So you could say that one of the benefits of doing an REU is being able to travel. If you do an REU in a place you've never been before or far away, it's a great way to like see a new place. You don't work on the weekends typically, so you can like spend a weekend going somewhere. I visited Chicago for a weekend and it was really fun. So that is an upside, but the main reason you would want to do it, you should not apply to an REU for that reason, but it is definitely a benefit. The main reason you should want to do an REU is experience. So this is experience doing research. So if you're like not interested in research at all, maybe this isn't for you. I want to preface that I am a biology major. All of my interests are in biology. Most of my friends are in biology, so that's what I'm familiar with. But there are REUs, there are summer programs for like engineering and computer science, and I think social sciences, like all sorts of different programs that I don't really know about. So this video is going to be a lot more biology based and also like PhD based, because that's my specific expertise. So if you are planning on getting a PhD, research in general, highly, highly recommend that you do an REU at some point during your undergraduate degree, because this is an opportunity for you to learn how to do research. You get your own project. It both teaches you how to do research, but also gives you independence as a researcher. And that experience is so valuable. It looks really good on applications, and it teaches you so much about research in general. We had career panels and information about the GRFP, or Graduate Research Fellowship Program, a very prestigious award you can get when you apply to grad school. If you do it, it's a lot of work, but that's why it was so valuable to learn about it early on, because I had never heard of it before, and you should definitely know about it before you apply for it in your senior year of college, or later if you choose to apply in graduate school. But in this experience, you learn, do you like research? Is it for you? How can you excel? You'll meet people in your field that you can learn about their research. You can meet people like in your cohort. You can make friends that have similar interests. You can learn about experiences you'd never heard of before. It's just so valuable, and it totally built my confidence as I was considering, am I going to apply for my PhD? And now I'm like, absolutely. You will get exposed to general general laboratory techniques, which is valuable, but you'll also have experience designing projects, making like a presentation or a poster of some sort, and that's valuable too. All of these things are great to put on your resume, but they're really, really formative, especially if you want to pursue research. You will want to have this experience. People who it might not be so valuable for are people who are interested in industry. I say this not because it wouldn't be helpful, but if you're interested in a career in industry where you're working with like an actual company, it's probably better to do an internship with a company. Like in industry, you could get a return offer, which could actually just get you a job. It'll give you more relevant experience. Also, pre-med students, I know that research is valuable for people who are interested in pursuing a medical career, but I think that there are better options for you. And also, REU admissions panels definitely prefer people who are interested in research in like as a long-term career. So they're less likely to be interested in students who have a goal of like becoming a doctor. This whole program is kind of a gift. I mean, we don't really know what we're doing, right? We're undergrads. For me, it was my first time doing research. I made a lot of mistakes, and everyone will, and I'll talk about that later. But I don't know if the money that they spent on me was returned in my research output. In fact, I'm pretty confident that was not the case. These programs are really a gift, and it's made to inspire people to pursue research. So pre-med students aren't really the target audience, and that's not to say that pre-meds will not get accepted or definitely shouldn't see if this is the right fit for them, especially if they're MD PhD track. But it's not. I wouldn't say it's designed for them, because there are other programs that are, and there are probably better fits. I don't know about them, really. I'm not pre-med, but yeah, that's my thoughts. Okay, so we kind of got to the why you should do an REU. Research is awesome. Experience is so valuable. Great on your resume. Teaches you a lot. But how do you do it? Because I was a community college student, and so I was like, how am I going to get into anything? I don't know anything about anything, right? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to fill out the application. So I learned a lot. Turns out I applied to like 25, 30 programs. I got into 5. Technically, I rescinded my application once I committed to a program, to several programs. So I could have gotten into more, but I don't know. If you're really, really desperate for research, especially if your application is not as strong, definitely strengthen numbers for sure. They're free. Why not apply to more? Except they are very time intensive, and the way that you should be applying to these programs is not really the way that I was doing it. So like 25 programs, that is not the strat. So these applications usually are composed of a personal statement where you write about yourself, some of your experiences, why you're interested in research, why you're interested in that program, and then sometimes there will be additional essay questions. And my advice is you should really tailor your application to the program you're applying to. Explain why you're interested in research in general, but for me, if I was applying to a plant biology program, I would say why I'm interested in plants, what I want to do with plants, why I'm inspired by that research in general. And most importantly, this is the trick for getting into a summer research program. This tip is reach out to professors. So I have a friend who got into the same program I did, but the way that she got in wasn't just through applying and hoping for the best. She reached out to 3 professors who had research she was interested in, and one of them got her in. Where she doesn't know that she would have gotten in if she hadn't done that. Clearly, if he got her into the program, then that increased her chances of acceptance. Both increases your chance of getting into the program, but also totally increases what you're going to take away from the program. So if you just apply to a program like I did, I applied to so many programs. I didn't really tailor the application extremely specifically to each program. I only mentioned specific faculty I was interested in when prompted. Some applications will say, what projects in our faculty are you interested in? So I would write, I like this professor, I like that professor, but otherwise I wouldn't, because it took time. Turns out there's a reason that they want you to do that. If you get into a program that you are otherwise a good fit for, but you don't have any research that you particularly match with, then you might not get in the program because there are other students that match perfectly with a professor's specific interest. So even though you're like a good generic applicant, you're generic, whereas there are better fits elsewhere that they would rather pick. So it increases your chance of getting into a program if you say explicitly what you want, but it also increases the chance that you enjoy what you get from the program. The first program I got into was at Notre Dame. Didn't really look into the specific faculty. They asked me during the interview too, like, what are you interested in? I was like, I want any experience, which is stupid because it's like, I would rather have experience in the areas I'm interested in, which is molecular genetics and plant biology, which I don't think they really had plant biology researchers, which is something that I should have looked into before I applied to the program. But I was just so desperate. I was like, I'll take anything, which, like I said, a generic applicant, it can increase your chances of getting into a program, but it's better for you to have a strong fit, both for the program because you'll be more interested in the research, but also you because you'll be more interested in the research. I got fit with like prostate cancer research. And I don't like human biology. That's not something I am like interested in. And I ended up turning down the program because I got suited with a better fit for me. So highly recommend actually chasing what you want because it'll be better for everyone in the long run. So the number one way to do this is look at the professors that are doing research at the university or nonprofit or whatever you're applying to and reaching out to them. And I know a cold email, it's kind of scary, but I'm telling you, it works wonders. So you say, hello, I am this person. I am interested in this. I saw your research on this. This is what is interesting to me. This is why it matters that you actually reach out to the people who you are interested in because you'll have something to talk about, which is like great for them. They're like, okay, you're interested in this program. I can see why you'd be a good fit for this research. And it's nice that you actually like what I'm doing instead of just like, oh, this is a prestigious summer program. And so you can say, this is a paper that I read or a field that you study on your lab website that I'm interested in and I want to learn more about. You might want to list a couple relevant experiences, maybe your CV. This is not your application to the program. So what you're doing in this email is you're introducing yourself, you're explaining why you're interested in the research, and then there's a couple options from where you go from there. One, you can ask, do you think I would be a good fit for this program? If you don't know if the faculty that you're reaching out to is participating in the RU, because not every professor at a university will have an RU student, you can say, are you participating in this RU? Or you can ask, would you have time for a quick Zoom call to talk about your research so I can learn more about it? This is exactly what I was talking about before, which is you want to pursue research you are interested in. Duh. So you want to make sure that this is a good fit for you. And that outreach, that initiative, and that interest will look good on you. They will see, oh, this person is taking time out of their day to look into my research, or just you're more memorable. So if they're on the applications committee, they can be like, oh yeah, I remember talking to them. They seem hardworking. They seem dedicated. They seem interested, whatever. And that will increase your chances. But if they're not on the applications committee, one, they might just pull you into the program, email the applications committee saying, hey, I want this student. Or in one example I've heard of, the professor said, if you are accepted by the applications committee, I will route you to my lab specifically. So maybe that wouldn't increase your chances of getting in the program, but it does increase the chance of you doing research you want, which is really important. If I had been doing field research over the summer, which I could have been matched into a field research lab, I would have been miserable. I am interested in plant biology, but I'm interested in molecules and cells and genetics. I am not interested in like going on the field, looking at the whole plant. I don't actually really like nature, so that would have been bad for me. So pursue things that you want to do. Duh. And I know this sounds so obvious, but I just did not realize this as a baby 1 year ago me, and I wish someone had told me that. As for your actual application, you should definitely still be applying separately through the normal application site to the program. Maybe after you meet with the professors, I would definitely recommend reaching out to them as soon as possible. And if you're not seeing enough research that you're interested in, maybe this isn't the right program for you. And this cold email technique is so powerful. I have a kind of weird example of this. I reached out to a professor because I wanted to write an article about his research, and I was interested in doing research in that university for the summer because I was interested in it for my PhD. And I was asking, hey, I'm not really seeing any programs I can apply to. It doesn't look like you have a normal REU. You have summer research programs for students that attend this university and for community college students and for people interested in human health, but I'm none of those. Is there anything I don't know about? And he was like, oh, you can just come into our lab. And I was like, what? So yeah, now I'm doing research in that lab for the summer and I'm really, really excited about it. Okay, so I'm done talking about outreach. I think that's great. But as for other elements of your application, it will ask for a personal statement. Be honest, try to gracefully flex, try to match your interests with the program. As I said, I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Have people proofread it for you. Look at other examples online. It also will usually ask for letters of recommendation. I would highly recommend professors. If you have research experience, definitely the ones that you've done research with. Things that you think would be flattering. Don't ask a professor that doesn't have a high opinion of you just because maybe they're like a Nobel laureate, because it's not going to be a good letter of recommendation. Letters of rec can be very, very powerful. And obviously every program is different, but in some programs, that's the most important part of your application. Ideally, it would be related to what you're studying. So last year I had letters of recommendation from a chemistry and math professor, which is close enough, I would say. I mean, I think a biology professor would be better, but definitely better than like an English professor or like a music professor. I mean, obviously, unless that's what you do. I don't know if there are music REUs, but like for me in biology, that would not be ideal. You want people who can speak on your ability to do research, ideally. But I would definitely take a positive letter of recommendation that's less relevant over a neutral or even negative recommendation of a more related field of study professor, because that's not going to actually help you. Oh, and also you should try to give like a month ahead notice of letters of recommendation, because it's definitely like not cool. You do not want to ask for a letter of recommendation like a week in advance, because professors got a lot on their plate. They don't always have time for all that. So if they only have a week to write an entire letter and submit it by a certain deadline, they're going to be like, I don't think that I'm going to be able to do that. I can't agree to that. And obviously there are some professors that are going to be like, cool, yeah, I can do that. But not as many. And it might actually impact the quality of your letter if they do accept. So I would aim for as much time as possible. If you found out about a program a little bit later, you don't have as much time, you have like 2-3 weeks, you might just want to preface like, hey, I know this isn't a lot of time. It's totally okay if this isn't something you're able to do. But I just wanted to reach out and ask, and kind of base this on how you feel your relationship is with that professor. But ideally reach out as soon as like physically possible. The final thing I'll say about your application is your GPA. It does kind of matter. I'd say that ideally they're looking for applicants with above a 3.5, but if you don't have a high GPA, I think that first step outreach can show that you're hardworking, even if you're academically not performing as well as other applicants. You're putting in the effort and you're really involved, and that might show your ability to do research better. So I would consider that. And maybe don't mention your GPA when you reach out to those professors in the beginning, because you don't have to. One final piece of advice for your application is apply to programs that are hard to find. So everything that's technically an REU will be listed under ETAP. There's like a portal where you can see all of the REUs funded by the NSF, like actual REUs, not just like summer research in general. Those are easier to find because they're all in a big list, right? Everyone can look through those and see the programs that are best for them. And also, like, the bigger, more prestigious universities are going to be more competitive. To increase your chances of getting into a program, look into the smaller schools, but more importantly, look for programs that are lesser known. So you can do this by just like looking up on Google and then just like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling deep past the first results. That's where 3 of my 5 acceptances came from, was just like looking at programs and seeing things that weren't on the main ETAP portal, and they had just fewer applicants. People don't know about them. One of the programs I got into had only 4 students one year because only 4 students in that field applied, which is crazy. Like, REUs are so competitive and you don't have enough people applying to fill all the spots. That's so sad. Like, this is an awesome experience. So look deep. Don't just apply to the big ones. Look at the small ones, and you can also apply to the big ones. You know, give it your best. But if you want to increase your chances, look for programs that other people don't know about. The final part of this video is, what do you do once you're there? You are going to make so many mistakes. I was making mistakes every day, and sometimes they were little mistakes. Sometimes they were huge mistakes. Sometimes it wasn't so much of a mistake as someone had explained something to me and I had promptly forgotten about it and felt really stupid for asking about it again. But that is kind of the point. That's why I was talking about an REU kind of being like charity, because we are stupid. We're learning research for the first time ever, and doing research is hard. This is why a PhD is like a PhD. It's like difficult. And obviously this is not PhD level research, but if you're expected to design experiments, you're going to be like, whoa, I don't know what I'm doing. You're going to waste time on things because you don't know what you're doing, or you messed up, and that's okay. That's what this program is for. And hopefully you'll have a mentor that is supportive and encourages mistakes and encourages you to get out of your comfort zone. Obviously, not every mentor is going to be perfect. This is a good time that you can lean on your cohort or possibly talk to other people in your lab, ask for advice, especially if you're doing research for the first time. This is kind of how it's supposed to be. Obviously, if you've done research before, maybe you'll be making some less mistakes, but you're probably doing something in a like different field. You have more independence. I don't know. Or maybe you're perfect. Maybe you're not making any mistakes. But then what are you learning? I don't know. So otherwise, what do you want to take advantage during your program? Your cohort could be awesome. I had a cohort of 18 people. It was great. We hung out all the time. We had board game nights. We watched movies. We took a little field trip together, like just the students. We made a group meet like before the program even started and just like talked to each other and made plans. And actually, some of us got so close that exactly a month ago, a bunch of us flew all the way to North Carolina. Remember, I'm from California, to visit because two of the cohort members go to NC State, and we visited them and spent a little time there right before I took my finals, and it was really fun, and I had a great time. And it's great to make friends, especially with people who have similar interests, because you'll have more to talk about, but also you can be like, oh my god, there's this program that I'm applying for, you guys should apply, or like, did you know about this, or whatever. Finally, I would say get to know the researchers at your institution. So talk to the people in your lab, talk to PIs. You'll probably get presentations about interesting research. Take full advantage of that. Maybe schedule little coffee chats if you're interested in someone's research and you're not in their lab and you want to learn more about it. In my case, I wanted to learn more about grad school, so I talked to a couple principal investigators about their experience in grad school, their advice, their regrets, etc. It was very informative. So highly recommend. It's going to be scary at first, and definitely come prepared. Come up with some backup questions so the conversation doesn't go stale. But overall, it's such an incredible opportunity, and you can learn so much from it, and I highly recommend it. So yes, I'm sorry that this video is coming out in January. That is a little late. Hopefully this will be useful for the 2027 application cycle. But if you're applying now, it's not too late, unless the applications are closed. But I'm sorry. Hopefully you'll be able to take something away from this, if not for future applications. If you get in this cycle, then things you can take away from it, or things you can share with other people. So yes, thank you for watching, and good luck with your research endeavors. You can always leave comments in the comment section, asking questions, and maybe I'll respond, maybe fellow viewers will respond. REU subreddit, you can have a lot of your questions answered there. They can be a little bleak sometimes though, it's Reddit, so keep that in mind. Don't go crazy, it's okay. You'll be okay. Okay. Bye guys!